Hello, intrepid readers. It's 2 o'clock in California, and all is well enough here as I'm starting my live. This is a Facebook Live event with me, Kelley, and I want to just say hi. I'm so glad to see some of you here. I have friends. Hi, Zach. I have friends that are here that are former students, that are former colleagues, that are other writers. And I think a lot of you are home right now because of this weird coronavirus thing, which I just can't really even wrap my head around. To tell you the truth, not much has changed here in my house, simply because I write full-time now, and so here's where I am most all the time. And so there you go. That's all I know. But why, if you're wondering why I'm here, let me tell you what's going on. All right, I have two different types of publishers, right? I have a mystery publisher, that's Red Adept, they're out of North Carolina. And I have a young adult publisher, Ionios Books, that's here in Carlsbad, California, which is like, 20 miles from here, which should be 20 minutes, right? I've been here almost 10 years and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that driving 10 miles here in San Diego could take 30 or 40 or however many minutes, as opposed to like, oh yeah, 10 miles, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And that's kind of what I was used to. So anyway, my YA publisher, Ionios Books, published my young adult title, Down in the Belly of the Whale, in May of 2018. And it is, okay, well, let me tell you something, first of all. And you let me know if you knew this. Young adult is a genre that is only applied as a young adult. The thing that makes it young adult is the fact that its main character is a young adult. Or in this case, Harper Southwood is 15 years old, going on 16, sophomore in high school. And because she's the main character, that's considered a young adult. Now, I have other books out, sorry, I'm picking them up. I have other books out, with Red Adept Publishing, and they are adult books. Death by Diploma, Poison by Punctuation. The third book, Strangled by Simile, is coming out, I don't know, in 2020, hopefully sometime. It's under contract. I haven't gotten a content editor yet, but they're coming out. So book 3 is coming out, and it's going in a book box of 3. It's very exciting. All sorts of really cool stuff is happening with the murder mysteries. But this is an adult book because the main characters are adult English teachers. It doesn't have adult themes necessarily. It's kind of like Murder, She Wrote on paper. So it's maybe more young adult even than this book, in that there are some heavy duty themes in this book. Like it's a happy ending book. I'm very about the happy ending. Anything you read that I wrote is a happy ending book. But anyway, there's some incest is a topic. It's really serious. There's a suicide attempt. It's got heavy duty themes in it, but it's positive. It's all over positive. So anyway, I have this book, and what I'm going to do, all right, Ionios Books, in light of the coronavirus nightmare stuff that we're going through right now, has decided to put their whole catalog up for free. The ebook version of all of their books is free right now. Thanks, Sherry. You're very cute. Sherry is online with me right now, and she just said, it's positive just like you. And thank you. I like to try and be positive all the time. So anyway, it's a free ebook right now for the entire month of April. It will be free. So if you're just checking in and you want to check out a YA catalog, and they are mostly sci-fi and fantasy as genres. This is I don't even know what you would call this genre specifically. Paranormal, light, contemporary? I don't know. Anyway, it's free right now. So you can pick it up on that website, ioniosbooks.com, AIONIOS books.com. And it's there, or it's on my website, kelleykbowles.com, which of course you can click on any of that stuff on my Facebook page, on my Twitter page, on all of that fantastic social media stuff that we love so much. So because of that free book right now for my young adult, the publisher thought, oh, I just about dropped it out onto the floor. The publisher thought that it would be interesting if I did a reading from this book. So that's why we're here right now, people. Hello, Rashida and Rochelle, Nancy. Wow. This is people from all over the country are watching this right now. Hi, Nancy. Can I push a little wave? There's Sherry. We'll do a wave. Ethel Oatman. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen you in years and years. This is so cool. Please feel free if you're listening to me right now and you want, hi Joe, and you want to make a comment, or if you have a question or you want to know anything, I'll give you a brief update on what's going on right here in San Diego, and then I'll read from this book. And then if you want to talk about other things, hi Rashida, hi Annette, see, yay, this is really fun. All right, so I'll read from this book. I'll give you an update on what's going on here in San Diego and with my family and everything, and then I will read some Jeff. See, I haven't even ever met you personally, Jeff Cavella. Hello, so nice to see you. Anyway, I'm obviously, all of you know me in some form, and so you know that I get distracted and then I talk about in tangent form something else. So back, San Diego, coronavirus. We are all okay here in San Diego. Everybody that I know is doing that at home with their group, and yes, well, thank you. 15 is good. I think in my head, so Nancy just said, just want to say you still look 15 to me. That's just goofy. That's because I'm goofy. That's the only, that you see goofy faces and you think, such a kid. Plus, I'll just let you know, this book is on audiobook along with the first mystery right now, but this book is narrated by me. If you are into the Audible thing, you can get this book, not for free right now, I don't think, but anyway, narrated by me the whole time, which is really fun, and I really liked that. So, see, Jeff Cavella is one of my, he has updated, he's a book blogger and has done a fantastic review of my books, and he puts it out on all his blogs. So thank you, Jeff, for doing that. I appreciate that. Anyway, if you want to listen to this book, you can listen to it because it's on Audible right now. Or you could listen to me read right now, and I can at least start it out. So anyway, we are all out of school. My husband is out of school. We're all at home. We're all trying to practice social distancing. This is the new buzzword, right? Along with tremendous and unprecedented. Apparently, those are new words that we use all the time. So the boys are baseball players, baseball coach. Everybody is playing baseball in the mornings at the park and doing some school stuff in the mornings. And I'm just trying to write. That's the only thing that's been hard. It's hard for me to do things quietly here in my little office space. See, here's my mirror, and then I don't think you can really, I have a little desk right here. I have my laptop sitting right here. This is my office, and it's kind of hard to be here and surround myself with quiet or, music and get writing done when there's 3 really large boys that run around here all the time. So anyway, that's what's happening here at the house. Nobody is sick. Nobody has a cough. Knock on wood. It's all been fine. I hope that the same is true for all of you. Hi, Brett. I hope the same is true for all of you in terms of nobody being sick or having coronavirus, or if you do feeling okay, just having a mild to moderate form of that. All right, so if you're just tuning in, I'm going to read from my young adult book, Down in the Belly of the Whale, for a little bit because it's free right now. Although here's a child of mine. Hey, children, I am live right now.
Computer, but he's not live. Right.
Okay, go. They're fighting amongst themselves. Siblings fight a lot. That was true for me and my sister. It's true for these two boys. Anyway, so if you're just checking in, this is Down in the Belly of the Whale. It's a young adult book about Harper Southwood, who is a almost 16-year-old sophomore. She thinks she's a changeling. That's at the beginning of the book. So I'll just read it to you. And then any questions that you have about any of these books or about what's going on with me or whatever, I can see quotes from you. I can see if you write stuff on there, I can see it and I can answer it. And it's just really cool. I don't know if I've ever done a Facebook Live thing before. I think I'll do it again if it goes okay. You guys have to let me know what you think. All right. Now, a former teacher of mine is on right now, Nancy. Hi, Nancy. I'm glad you think I still look 15. My eyesight does not agree with you. So I'm going to put my little reading, they're crooked. I hate glasses. I don't use them unless I absolutely have to. But guess what? I do absolutely have to. So I'm going to start reading the beginning of Belly of the Whale. And I'll read it for the first page or two and then see what you think. I could read some non-published stuff too if you wanted to. But anyway, this is the book that is free right now at aeoniosbooks.com for the whole month of April in homage to the people who are stuck at home and have to maintain social distancing and like books like the rest of us, like all of you intrepid readers out there. Yeah. What with you remember me? How do you remember me, Nancy? Goofy? In silly little glasses? I don't know. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to read for a little bit. I'm going to kind of lean back in my chair so that I am comfortable. And then I will read for a bit and then I will answer any questions that you have. All right. Down in the Belly of the Whale is the name of the book. Kelley K. Bowles is the name of the writer. That's my maiden name. Kelley K. Gussick is my married name, and I write nonfiction under that name that I don't have an agent for yet. Anyone that has any ideas about that, just let me know. I need an agent for that. And then Kelley K, K-A-Y-E, is my murder mystery publisher, and that's Read Adept, and those books are published. I'm working on book number 4. I'm technically not supposed to go to book number 4 with that, but I'm gonna, I think. All right, Down in the Belly of the Whale by Kelley K. Bowles. You cast me into the deep, into the heart of the sea, and the flood enveloped me. All your breakers and your billows passed over me. Jonah 2, verse 4, New American Bible, Revised Edition. Now, that's a whole nother story about the first quote from the book. Maybe I will tell that to you at some point. Chapter 1, Outcast. Outcast, noun. A person who has been rejected by society or a social group. My latest theory is that I must be a changeling. I've read myths about changelings in various books and encyclopedias. They have one basic thing in common. A changeling is a creature switched with a child at birth because someone wants the child more than the creature. I think I am that creature. And I feel sorry for the kid who got switched because these parents aren't too bad, really. Oh, and did I mention the creatures doing the switching are trolls? The changeling child at first looks like the human it substitutes, but gradually grows worse in appearance and behavior. Ugly, malformed, ill-tempered, given to screaming and biting. My baby pictures are pretty cute, all toothless smiles and fat rolls. But right now, as a sophomore, I have a zit the size of Cleveland right in the middle of my chin. My chest is less than spectacular. And growing my kinky brown hair long does little to affect its behavior, which means it always looks like mini tornadoes have set up camp in my follicles. I hate over half my teachers. I have no siblings and only one real friend. Since society in general frowns upon screaming and biting, I kind of only do that alone and to a pillow. So I totally agree with the changeling definition. Mrs. Harper Southwood. Ciao, Bella. And how are we this morning? Ravishing, I can see. May I have this dance? And he grabs my arm to start twirling me around the kitchen like a rag doll. My feet trip across the hardwood as I try to follow his rhythm. This is my Uncle Peter, who is the only person in my family to whom I could maybe be genetically linked. We call him Uncle Pasta because he's short, but still skinny and linguini lanky, if a short person can be such a thing. He also has tornado hair, which he keeps short enough for it to be called kinky. Plus, he has this trick he loves to pull out at holiday dinners. He shoves a piece of spaghetti up his nose and pulls it out of his mouth. Then he kind of yanks both ends back and forth. Al dente spaghetti, I'm sure, because otherwise it would break. What does al dente mean in its original language, do you suppose? Something about how chewy and gross it is on your dentals, maybe. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, he likes to talk in this pseudo-Italian accent, which is another reason for the nickname. He lives in our basement, which is why he flounces into the kitchen, scaring the bejesus out of me at the ungodly hour of time to go to school. Did I mention I have a date tonight? He says, opening a kitchen cabinet to pull out a cereal bowl. An absolutely scrumptious man named Charles. I think he really likes me, too. Oh, I'm sure he does, Uncle Pasta, says I. You also are ravishing. Whatever are you going to wear? Uncle Pasta and I aren't genetically linked in the matter of sexual orientation. At least I don't think we are, judging by the way my stomach takes a nosedive every time I hear the name Larson McCready, or God forbid I see him and he sees me with the zit and the hair and the increasingly troll-like features. Uncle Pasta sounds like a big outlandish goofball when he sneaks up on me and flings me around with the accent and the al dente tricks and all, but he's really sweet and mellow and kind of insecure inside. I'm sure he really likes you, Uncle Peter. You're one of the loveliest people I know. He kisses my cheek. No, you are the loveliest person, little Miss Lovely. I think I'm going to wear jeans and a button-up shirt. Nice, but casual, you know? I kiss his cheek. It's going to be great. You'll be awesome, I know. Uncle Pasta sneezes, and my nose starts to twitch. Oh, be careful, though. I think you're catching a cold. He looks at me. I hope you're wrong this time. I'm off to drown in a quart of orange juice, just in case. He drops the cereal bowl on the counter to open the fridge. Changeling stories don't say that changelings have any special powers, except that they are wiser than human children, which is cool. It's something to hang on to when my hair explodes out of the ponytail or my dad's acting a little douchey. But I think my troll family might have had a strange quirk, a sense of some sort. When people around me are getting sick, my nose itches, or I start sneezing, or my body reacts in some bizarre way. It's not a gift or a power, in my opinion, because it doesn't do anything for anybody. I can warn people to dive into the orange juice, I guess, but aren't you supposed to drink that stuff a lot anyway? Some help I am. I have this recurring fantasy where I can actually see the germ or bacterium or whatever with my intensive x-ray vision, and then I spray some sort of supernatural mojo out my nose that transforms the offending germ into a super vitamin that makes you healthier. It's a nice dream. But so is Cascading Hair or Larson McCready on speed dial, always answering his cell and dying to take me out on the town. Uncle Pasta heads to the fridge with fingertips squeezing at his lymph nodes. I feel helpless like always, but I guess all I can do right now is go to school. So that just sort of lays out what the story is with Harper. She thinks she's a troll because, you know, she's a kid and kids think that stuff, and I don't know. They Oh, hi, Chad. God, I haven't seen you in years and years and years. So she is like typical teenager. She's typical teenager. She's pretty smart. She thinks there must be something wrong because she is a teenage person. And anyway, she has this supernatural power that she can't figure out, and she can't make sense of it, and she can't make it do what she wants it to do, even when her friend who is mentally ill tries to kill herself, even when her mother gets sick, and she can't sense that with her mother. So anyway, that's the story. It's a fun story. I love. All right, intrepid readers and people watching me on video right now, I like stories. I like to tell stories. I'm having the best time being able to do this, being able to write things that are in my head. And I like paranormal stories, even though my murder mysteries are not paranormal at all. I'm thinking about maybe doing paranormal murder mystery. I don't know. I like being able to manipulate the world that I'm writing about. That's what's cool about books, in my opinion, is that you can manipulate that world. That you can find different worlds that you like. You can have people that do whatever you want, that act however you want. This whole coronavirus thing is weird and awful and bizarre, and it's like real life sort of sucks. There's a lot of things about it that sort of suck, and so I just like being able to turn it around and make it do whatever I want it to do. I do, I watch weird stuff on TV too. I'm all obsessed with not a new series, with an old series that's ending after 15 years called Supernatural, because that's what they do. They like supernatural stuff and they like paranormal stuff, but they also like happy endings, and they like their characters helping other people. And that's Harper's thing, is she likes to help people. All of the characters that I write about, and including myself, that's kind of their point. That's kind of what they're there to do, is help as much as they can and as much as they are able to in any situation. And that's what I like. I like that that the world can be manipulated in the way that the characters want it to be, but that everybody's also trying to help and do the best with what they've got going on in whatever situation they've got going on. So that's where I stand right now with writing and with San Diego and with the kids. I have 2 boys. Those of you who know me before I had kids, I have these 2 gigantic boys. They're 11 and 13, and they're super active and super involved in sports and school choir. They're in the choir and they play the piano, and it's just fantastic. It's really fun. So, and then I'm writing stories, which is awesome and wonderful, and I love it. I just had a story that came out on a blog called Woebegone. The blog is not Woebegone. The story is called Woebegone. The blog is called, oh God, I can't remember. I think I put it on my website, kelleykbowles.com. But I'm going to submit, I've got some short stories. It's just so much fun. If you have ideas for me, please let me know. Okay? I don't know if all of you have read all of the books that I have out. Right now there are, I showed you the 2. If you just checked in, I have 3 books right now. Down in the Belly of the Whale is the young adult. This is, book 2. This is book 1, Death by Diploma. This is book 2, Poison by Punctuation. Book 3 is called Strangled by Simile. And it is, I feel like, my best one. I feel like I'm getting better at this the more I do it. And so that's my favorite one and my best one. I think, although the first character, the characters are the same in all of them, that's a nice thing about a series. I have a young adult trilogy that I'm working on right now. The first book is done. It's called Paper Fields, and it's called The Meld. The Meld is the group. It's a group of dead people that give gifts to the living, but they have to give gifts to young adults because it's a young adult series. Anyway, I'm working on that, and it is really fun. So I see that there are 8 of you watching right now. Does anyone have any questions? Anything that you want to know about what's going on here in San Diego, or what's going on with the Gussick family, or what is going on with any of these books or stories? I could read something from an unpublished story if you want. I don't know. I give me some feedback. I would love to hear from you guys. Is anyone sick right now? Does anyone have that COVID-19 nightmare thing? Ugh. That's just not cool, is it? I'm not happy with. I don't know. We haven't had much going on here as far as, I don't know the total number of people that have been diagnosed with it, but they've had 3 people in San Diego who have died. All of them are over 75 or 80 years old, but yeah, that's what's happening now. I guess I could kind of show you my office. What do you think about that? This is my office. Read something unpublished. Okay, Sherry, I can totally do that. Okay. Can you see? You can just see me. All right, hang on. This is my little office. Okay, I can read something. Read some of your trilogy, the young adult, and that's unpublished too. I was thinking about that actually. I was telling you about the Paper Fields trilogy. I have Strangled by Simile. See, I have Strangled by Simile too. Like I said, that's under contract, but it's not finalized yet. But that's also one of my favorite first scenes. So let's see. One thing that I'm noticing, and you'll have to tell me as you're reading my books, those of you that have read them or want to read them. Ooh, can I just say one more thing before I read this while my computer's coming up? If you've read my stuff, or if you're going to read anything that I have written, please review it on Amazon. Okay, I need the numbers of reviews. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Whatever, just say, hey, this wasn't for me because of this, or this was for me because of this, or whatever. But give me a sentence that gives a basic, okay, yeah, this is what I got out of this book, and put it on Amazon. And then I've got another review. Like, I need the total numbers. Okay, so if you have read all my stuff or any of my stuff, that's what I need from you, is reviews. And like I said, it just needs to be a sentence. It's the numbers that count. Okay, so do that for any books that you like, even your favorite authors that have thousands. You know, you don't have to be as fast as reviewing for them, but you should do that, because that's how they that's how they support themselves. Okay, everybody got the word out. Excellent. All right, so let's see the first part of Paper Fields. I can read the first page or so of that, and then if I can get it to move up to the top. Hang on. Oh, bugger. This computer, not great. Okay. All right, so I will read a couple of paragraphs from this one, and then maybe a couple of paragraphs from the young adult, from the murder mystery, because I like that one too. Okay. Can you hear me all right? Someone give me a thumbs up to make sure I know that you can hear me. Thumbs up? Anyone? A thumbs up? A little? See, you might be watching, but maybe you're just watching me move and you can't hear what I'm saying. I need oh, thank you. There's somebody that can hear me. I just got a thumbs up. That's excellent. There's a thumbs up. All right, sweet. All right, this is book 1 in the Meld trilogy, and it's going to actually have 4 books, because one of the characters in this book goes, I need to do a novella about her too, but anyway. All right, Paper Fields, chapter, okay, this is the opening. I like prefacing things. See, good. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Nancy. All right, thumbs up, yay. All right, so I like prefacing things all the time. So I preface books with quotes from other people all the time, okay? So this is this one. Let me walk through the fields of paper, touching with my wand dry stems and stunted butterflies. Denise Levertov. That's from a cool Denise Levertov poem. If you've never read her, she's cool. Hey, I'm looking for my glasses. Oh my God, what did I just do with those glasses? Oh, here they are. Sorry, I'm going to try and read and I'm not going to be able to see anything. Houston, we have audio. Woo! Okay, now I can see better. That was just a little quote, so it was pretty big letters. It was easy for me to read. Okay. Chapter 1, Pinewood, Colorado. Now, all my books, all my young adult books in particular, no, all of them. Oh, they all do. All my books take place in Pinewood, Colorado, which is a made-up town, doesn't really exist. It's kind of a cross in between Grand Junction, Colorado, which is where I grew up, and also where I taught school. Yay for the Monument Wildcats! And South Lake Tahoe, which is where my first teaching job was. It's a mountain town in on the south shore of Lake Tahoe. So Pinewood is kind of a cross between those two areas. So if you're curious about what it looks like, it's totally made up, and I'm just pulling out stuff from these two towns that I used to live in. Okay, Pinewood, Colorado now. Millie, where are you? Damn it, I hate it when you disappear. You're like a ghost. My dad calls from the garage. I'm in the den. Not like he's in Antarctica and I'm in Philadelphia, but I guess it is a little difficult to see me because I'm sitting behind the couch. Sorry, Dad. I'm contemplating the power of words. You're what? What? His voice floats through the hall as he lurches my way. He hits the wall with something, maybe a shoulder or an elbow, then appears in the doorway. I can see him from my squatted position by looking in the mirror above the desk. What did you say? My father, Lincoln Mahoney, holds himself up in the doorway. His brown wavy hair is getting too long. Random tufts splay from the sides and the top of his head. He looks like an old frayed mop. He's also drunk, even though it's only 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Never mind. I need you to drive me to the store. I'm out of Johnny Walker. I've always been obsessed with words. Fixated, preoccupied, over the top. Whatever word you choose. I love them all. I'm something about being able to choose a word like imbecile or nincompoop, maybe moron. When I'm in an inappropriate situation to use jackass or douchebag, really appeals to me. Words for love or fun? They're resilience. Take your pick. Find the right one for your mood or your dude and everyone's happy. Isn't that cool? My mom used some of her word power when she named me Millicent. Millicent means brave strength, although people usually call me Millie. Millie Mahoney. To me, that doesn't sound like the name of a brave and strong person as much as a grouchy old lady with huge arthritic knuckles and a perpetual Parkinson's head shake. Maybe a lion's head cane to bonk persnickety teens. Ooh, another great word. Persnickety. Makes me sound like old lady Millie when I use a word like that. I can't help it though. Hi, Michelle, I see you. I love that new people are joining. I'm trying to wave. It's not letting me do that. Oh. Okay. Hi, Michelle. To me, words are power. They can make a person feel a certain way, behave a certain way, or do fantastical or horrific things. I read once that the words of Holden Caulfield in the novel Catcher in the Rye were the reason Mark David Chapman killed John Lennon. Mahatma Gandhi said, "A small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history." His words inspired a whole group of people to protest against the British government long before the word protest got all trendy. Isn't that cool? Gandhi was like a word ninja. That being said, I wish I, Millicent Mahoney, could use words to bring about world peace, Or maybe to make my math teacher pull back on the sarcasm she constructs so eloquently when I'm shaken like an aspen tree in front of the whole 10th grade Algebra 2 classroom, trying to answer a word problem. If I could use words to vanquish zits, that'd be wicked cool too. All right, let's see for a minute that I, Millicent Claire Mahoney, all of a sudden and through some amazing supernatural gift could write my way into anything or out of it. The first thing I'd do is write myself out of detention. Forever. I'd be able to tell Miss Brandmer, the previously mentioned math teacher, that she was a conniving witch out to destroy my life and my GPA, which she is, and she'd be unable to touch me. I'd write myself out of all my birthday parties, not because I don't want to get older, but because I hate the singing and the candle blowing and everyone is looking at me part. I write myself into an invite to one of Kennedy Jackson's I'm so popular I could puke parties. Not because I want to be her friend. She is definitely a conniving bitch out to destroy the life of anyone who's not part of her circle. But because I just want to know what they talk about. I mean, do popular girls have conversations about subjects with any meaning or depth? Or is it really just the texting internet insanity of inanity that I hear in classrooms and hallways all the time? Everlasting boredom on a stick? All sentences begin with like and all paths lead to nowhere? I'm just curious. I'd also write myself some social lessons. I'd like to automatically know the right thing to say to Derek Sampson when he asks for help with his homework. Something other than, yeah, stick the comma here would be nice. My dad throws some bills over the back of the couch and into my lap. A 5 flutters past my ear, and I catch it before it hits the carpet. Hurry up, he says, and stumbles toward the door to the garage. I wait for the sound of the car door slamming before I pop up, shoving the bills into the pocket of my shorts. I hate that I'm doing this, as usual, but what else can I do? He's totally too dangerous to get behind the wheel, but he's going to find a way to get his Johnny Walker, no matter what. I don't see any other way to keep him, and everyone else safe. Sheesh. Hey, do you think I could write alcohol out of existence? One big scribble in my diary, no more booze, ever. Then it would disappear and maybe my dad would turn into a normal human being. Now that sounds like a best-selling tell-all diary if I ever heard one, although those disappearing wine coolers would seriously piss off Kennedy and her pals. Big-time drunk fests are the essence of the aforementioned puke parties. Oh well. But seriously, if I could really use the power of words for anything, total freedom, no holds barred, no weird apocalyptic consequences, I'd use it to bring my mother back. And that's the end of the first part. Hi, see now. All right, so Christy Skockle Gabar, my very best friend from school, just checked on and said, hello, Millicent. And I forgot that's... So, yeah, Christy, so this character, her name is Millicent. I think that I'm probably... Anyway, so that's the first chapter of that book. And I think it's better than other stuff that I've written. Hi, Kenny. Oh, God, I haven't... So, hi, Kenny Chapman. That is someone I haven't seen since college. How awesome is that to see Kenny? How did I come up with those character names? Ooh, so Jeff Cavella, the blogger, just asked me the question, how did you come up with those character names? And the answer is, all right, so Millicent, I was just talking about my friend Christy. Christy and Kelley, for some reason, I don't even remember. Christy, do you remember why we did this? Hi, Shanna. We were Millicent and Gertrude. We named each other Millicent and Gertrude when we were in high school, and I don't know why. So her name is Millie Mahoney. See, Shanna, Nancy Hunter is here too. Isn't that cool? Like, look at, anyway, so her name is Millicent, and then I guess that must have come from my name being Millicent with my friend Christy, Millicent and Gertrude. And then as far as Lincoln, I just pick based on whatever floats my boat at that minute. I might have heard something on a song. I might have heard, I might have met somebody that, like, I had a character in one of my books. Let's see, you put it on the puke bucket. You gave me along with it. Okay, I can't read that in front of everybody, Christy. Oh my God. Okay, so Christy tells me that name came from a puke bucket I gave her along with a beer bong from a party that do you know it's tough to entertain yourself in a small town? You all of you that are in a small town right now, you know that it's tough. And so we did all sorts of interesting things to entertain ourselves. Christy, I'm going to kill you. Okay, so Darlene is watching. So is my mom there too, Darlene, or is it just you? You'll have to text and let me know if mom is watching too. No, when we went to college, this was so this was like a time that we were home from college, in between, since we didn't go to the same college. I don't know, but somebody is watching right now, Kenny Chapman, that I went out with in college. So, wow. So yeah, anything that I see or hear is up for grabs. That's one of the things that I always tell people when I'm talking about writing, that maybe they don't want to hear, but one thing that writers do that they do very well, and teachers too, and parents, so it's not just writers, is eavesdrop. Like, if you don't know, if somebody's not looking at you, a lot of times people think that you can't hear them, or I don't know. It's really weird. But hi Darlene. So you missed the reading part. I'm going to read another part maybe, depending on where this goes. Anyway, if you are listening to, if you're not looking at someone, and this was true for my classroom as well. I haven't really tried it out with my kids because it just hasn't done it. But hi Darlene. But kids especially, don't. Oh, hi Claudia, another writer is here. Hi. People don't, and she's a teacher. Claudia, hi Claudia. Tell me, agree with me or no. If kids don't know that if you're not looking at kids, they think you can't hear them. And so as a writer, now that I'm just writing, eavesdropping is a fantastic technique for getting ideas for how to write. Oh, I'm so glad. I that book's not published yet. I'm working on it. Fingers crossed. So everything that we hear, yes, see, Sherry Kephart, she's a writer. She's watching me right now. She said everything that we hear is ammunition. Now, I don't know if Jerry Unverworth is still watching right now, but Jerry is one of my former teachers. Hi, Brian. He's one of my former teachers, and my murder mysteries are in the fictional town of Pinewood at the fictional high school, Thomas Jefferson High School, but it's really, there's a lot of elements in it that are Fruita Monument High School, which was the major place, which is where I went to high school and where I taught high school for 16 years. And the people are not real people, but some of their mannerisms or the things that happened to me when I was a teacher or a student there are reproduced in some form in this book. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. The first book, Death by Diploma, which was my first major publication, is the teachers, Emma Lovett and Leslie Parker, are the two main characters, and they're English teachers. And I was an English teacher, and we had a colleague in my department from my first probably 5 or 6 years of teaching, who had also been a teacher when I was a junior high student. And this teacher was, she was super interesting. It's an interesting situation. But anyway, in the 70s, and this is our small town of Grand Junction, we had a strip club called the Flamingo. And so in the 70s, that was the well-known strip club. And this teacher, a bunch of coaches or other teachers or whatever, hi Michelle, I see you. This teacher was called by a group of teachers, coaches, whatever, that had that needed to get a ride home from here. And so she, sorry, I'm trying to wave. I'm trying to punch the little button that says wave. If you don't get a wave from me, it's because the stupid button's not working. All right. So this teacher goes and picks up these other teachers, brings them home, so they don't drive drunk. And when she gets to the Flamingo to pick them up, one of them made a joke about, hey, you should get up and dance on the table. And that's it. That's it. Like, that's the whole situation. But for some reason, and this is kids, it turned into this massive rumor that this teacher used to dance at the Flamingo. And kids, being kids, horrible, just would do these things to call that to her attention all the time. Like, they would leave one of those postcards that has a Flamingo, Florida postcard or whatever, leave it on her desk in the morning when she got into school, or they would make some sort of reference or joke or whatever to a flamingo because of that rumor. And this poor woman, instead of just flipping them all off and blowing them all off and moving on, she got really upset every time that happened. And she would kind of throw a hissy fit every time that happened. And so therefore kept the rumor going for her whole career. Like it was an existing rumor that followed her, dogged her entire career. And so what I did with that for Death by Diploma, there's a character in the book, Death by Diploma. Her name is Martha. Her name's Martha Bonaventure, and she's a social studies teacher. And there's a rumor that followed her. So it's sort of like that. I mean, she's a teacher who had a rumor that followed her. This character, the rumor is that she was a bearded lady at the circus. And it all goes with the story, and it there's a reason for it, and it has to do with the mystery and the murder, and it was just so much fun to mess with that whole story. But it all came from this one situation from a former teacher at Fruta that is now plugged into this fictional school in this fictional town with these fictional people. And I know that it's weird. Like, I've talked to some colleagues that I had back in Fruta, particularly coaches, because I'm a little tough on coaches. And this is all spoofy. This is like spoofy, a lot of stuff. But I'm kind of hard on some of the coaches in this book, in this series. And I feel bad because I'm looking at some people right now that are coaches. I'm married to a coach. I am, my kids are all sporty. And so it's like, I feel a little bit bad, but it's all spoofy, right? It's all exaggerated baloney, and it's just for fun. So anyway, I don't mean to be hard on coaches, but I will let you know if anyone that's watching right now is one of those coaches that that feel like I'm too hard on coaches. And let's be fair. Especially in the early 90s, late 90s, which is my beginning. See, Jeff Cavella, the blogger, he just pulled up his review. That he did a long review of that book, Death by Diploma, and it's on his Buttonhole Book Reviews site. So there it is. And so I guess that will be on the. Hopefully, this will be on the thing now, right? It will be on the future thing. I don't know. I really don't know how this live thing works. Like, I'm reading all of these comments. I don't know if they'll come up on the bottom of I don't know. Oh, Ann Coleman. Yay! another colleague of mine. Fantastic. I'm so glad to see everybody here that's watching. So anyway, that's the stories that started with. So I eavesdrop all the time, and I don't take exact words necessarily that people. Can I help you? Hang on, my child's coming in. What do you need, sweetie?
I'm on a Zoom meeting, so I'm gonna be talking.
Okay, just don't yell. That's great. My youngest child is doing a Zoom meeting right now with his class. They are starting to do all this distance learning stuff for school, which I just think is so. I mean, I'm so glad that we have the technology to do it. It's so great, but it's. Hi, Ann Coleman. But it's weird, don't you think? I've taught distance learning before. I taught at the junior college in Colorado, and so I know how to do it. But it's just weird to not. I was at hybrid, so like I would go to class half the time and teach the class, and then I would teach the other half online, and so it wasn't the same as now where we have to stay so far away. I met a friend yesterday in the car. We met in the Target parking lot, and our windows went down, and we just sat next to each other with the windows open and talked for 3 hours in the car because we hadn't been able to interact again. It was just really strange. So anyway, I don't know. All right, so that was the meld. That's the first chapter of that meld one. I could do the first part of the new mystery if you want me to. I haven't seen any more questions right now that you want me to answer. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to read another? I'm not afraid to talk. I'll talk however long you guys want me to. But it would be helpful if you give me something that you want me to talk about. Do you want me to read another from the new murder mystery? Do you want me to, I don't know what all, I mean, I have all sorts of stuff. Yes, I love you too, Anne. I've got all this. What am I currently reading? Okay, so Jeff asked the question, what are you currently reading? That all depends on my mood. I've got like 6 out right now. My book club book is, okay, and I'll read you my thing in just a minute. My book club book is Little Fires Everywhere. Have you guys read that? That meeting is, oh, and then Sherry says, talk about what you learned about writing from Dr. Seuss. I just did that's on YouTube. That's on my YouTube station. If you want to see the first part of that speech, I just got to speak. I was one of 3 keynote speakers at Brandeis University's author event at the Bernardo Heights Country Club woo, fancy schmancy, huh? It was really awesome. And so I got to talk about what I learned about writing, everything I learned about, bye, Zach. I'm so, yeah, get it. It's free. It's free right now. Anybody, so one of my former students is leaving right now, saying goodbye. Thank you very much. And he said he's looking forward to reading more Belly of the Whale. I think you'll like it. It's a pretty fun story. And it's free on my website, on Ionios Books, either way. So please do. Yes, please do. Thank you, Zach. Bye. All right, back to Dr. Seuss. So I got to do this whole 30 to 40 minute speech about everything I learned about writing. I learned from Dr. Seuss. And that was because Dr. Seuss is a local. He's from San Diego, and he just had his 116th birthday. And basically, I talked about all the elements of Dr. Seuss stories specific to things that I've learned as a writer, in terms of trying new things and taking risks and all of that kind of stuff. So that was cool. So I'm reading Little Fires Everywhere for my book club, and I am reading The Face, which is Dean Koontz, because it was just on sale for my Kindle, and I'm reading a really interesting book by Stephen Hawking that also was on sale on Kindle. I don't know if you guys do BookBub. Every time BookBub has sales, things that are 99 cents or $1.99, I buy them. I put them on my Kindle, and then when I get a chance, I read them. I'm reading 3 to 5 books at any given time, and it's I'm a huge fan. obviously I'm a huge fan of books. Everything about books. I like to write them. I like to read them. I like to talk about them. I'm going to read the first part of my new murder mystery right now. If you still want to listen, I'll read that and then see if you have any questions. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so this is Strangled by Simile. And like I said, I think, I got to pull it up. I think I'm getting better. I feel like I'm getting better as we go along. I keep working on it all the time. So, this is Strangled by Simile. Now, the thing about the murder mysteries, this series is called Chalkboard Outlines. The whole series is called Chalkboard Outlines because you know how they outline a dead body in chalk? So that's for the murder mystery, and that's why it's called that. So you're supposed to, for a cozy mystery, this is a cozy mystery, which has to be amateur people, not police procedural, and so it has to have something to do with the occupation of the amateur sleuth and with with death, because it's murder mystery. So that's why they all, and plus I like alliteration. So they all, death by diploma, poison by punctuation, and then this one is Strangled by Simile. They all start with a prologue, and you're not even supposed to do that. Don't even get me started. If you're a writer that's watching this right now, I know you're not supposed to start your book with a prologue. But I do for these books. So they all start with a prologue that is like 3 days later than when the story actually starts. So this is 3 days ahead of when the story begins. Strangled by Simile. If you are a coach and you read the first books, this is a very big deal with coaches. So you will like this one. Okay. Prologue, Wednesday, October 12th. The smaller gym on the east side of Thomas Jefferson High School in Pinewood, Colorado, would forever be known as the Old Gym. A group of parents and community members felt this gym was inadequate for the massive sporting needs of TJ students, so back in the late 90s had campaigned heavily to pass a bond issue paying for a state-of-the-art facility next to it. It stood now like a bossy older brother next to a weaker, ineffectual baby brother. A moneyed town person named Ezekiel Hatch ponied up the requisite funds to have it named the Hatch Sports Complex. But kids and teachers just called it the new gym. Most English teachers called it the Hatch Horror, not because it was a horrible gym, but because they felt the money was wasted on yet another place for sports, when the theater at TJ High was about as large and functional as a telephone booth. The protests fell on the deaf ears of armchair quarterbacks everywhere. Charlie Foreman liked the old gym. His office in the back corner was comfortable and inviting, and that smell, the one which seemed to most a gag-inducing mix of stinky socks and high school hormone sweat, to Charlie was a reminder of happier times, more successful, game-winning, championship-hunting, badass times. He loved it. He came in crazy early again this morning to check on his William receipts. Easier to avoid other nosy teachers nosing into his business. Unlocking the large double doors from the student parking lot side of the school, Charlie flung them open like Ali Baba to the thieves' den, threw his head and arms back, and inhaled the stink. Then, chuckling, he closed the doors behind him, turned on the lights, and made his way across the parquet. The lights illuminated slowly, beginning from the center of each bulb and blooming brighter, and his footsteps echoed as he lumbered toward the far corner to unlock his office. His green and black checkered polyester golf pants whooshed as he walked, and he tapped a beat on meaty thighs with sausage fingers. The court flooring didn't extend all the way into the offices or locker rooms, so Charlie's favorite golf shoes, made by Nike with lime green and black diagonal stripes, danced a little bit when they hit the concrete. The office lights flicked right on, emphasizing his anticipation. He was excited for things to come, and it was always good to get out of his competitive golf and football coach mindset and into this project. This was good. This was right. He looked around, checking the windbreaker that folded over his office chair. That's a weird sentence. Okay, sorry. That Leslie Parker. Ever since she started pranking him with itching powder in his coat pockets, they'd been involved in an all-out war. From him scaring the bejesus out of her by programming a mini speaker to blast Metallica when she opened her desk drawer, to her latest trick of a fake spider in his peanut butter. How did she know about his crazy fear of spiders? He always had to be on his guard. He'd never admitted to his buddies, never in a zillion years, but he kind of liked their sparring. Sure, all they did was make fun of each other, torture each other. He liked Leslie, though. He felt like, on some level, if they were somewhere else besides drowning in her world of words and him having to work too hard to maintain his jock status, they might just be friends. Maybe. He yanked his own desk drawer open, ready to scare away whatever might be hiding there. Nothing today. Surprising for a Wednesday. Usually Leslie had her best tricks researched and ready by the middle of the week. Little stinker. Charlie smiled, sat down, and pulled the cash drawer from the back of the desk. It was empty today, but for the new pile of receipts. He'd been to the bank first thing Monday morning. He pulled the order book from underneath the metal cash box and started listing the totals on the receipts. The newest numbers looked great. Another reason to smile. Except maybe this list. Something wasn't right on the numbers from... He patted the fanny pack around his waist, bulging with cash from the football garage sale donations. So many people have too much junk, he thought. At least this is a good way to help the football team. The door to his office clicked closed. Charlie turned his head to look. "Oh, hey," he said, and went back to his lists. "Early, ain't ya? Did you bring the new..." Something flew over his head from behind, and before he had time to figure out what it was, it dropped in front of his eyes and rammed itself into his Adam's apple. He grabbed at whatever it was, fingers scrabbling around his neck. He couldn't breathe, felt like his windpipe was collapsing under the pressure. Trying to find a place to push his fingernails under the rigid substance pressing against his neck, Charlie's shoulders twisted from one side to the next. Desperate to stop the assault, he tried to shove himself backwards with his lime green Nike golf shoes. Instead, his feet flailed and slid on the concrete floor. Charlie Foreman wanted to reach around with his fists and punch at the person behind him. He wanted to do what strong, athletic coaches were supposed to do, but the pressure on his throat was stopping him. His eyes watered, and he felt a burning in his chest. A fire was singeing his heart, and the water dropping out of his eyes couldn't put it out. He clutched at his chest, trying to put out the fire. "Please," he thought, "don't. There's still so much to do, and now I have to figure out what's going on with..." His hands slashed the air. Then his fingers went slack. So that's the prologue to the third murder mystery. And see, my heart's beating. I'm all excited by reading that that just happened to Charlie Foreman. If you haven't read that series, Charlie Foreman is one of the worst coaches in that whole series. He is the worst. Or is he? That's the question. Is he the worst? I don't know. You learn a lot about him in this. That's kind of how this series goes. You find out about things from previous thing. I recognize. So Ann Coleman just tried. I recognize that gym. Yeah, see there, the new gym and the old gym, that's all real stuff from my old high school. That's actual. It doesn't have a name like that, and it wasn't developed by Ezekiel Hatch or whatever that made up stuff that I'm talking about. But the new gym and the old gym is real, and it really did piss off a lot of teachers that thought the money should have gone into other elements of the school. Like, I was a drama teacher, and so the theater, in my eyes, could have used, like, I'd had to do fundraising to try and get new seats and new curtains and new things for this teeny weeny little theater that we had at my old high school. And so it's, I use the auditorium. See, I'm using real stuff, but turning it into my own little murder mystery hidey hole. I guess. So much fun. So much fun. Where's your favorite place to read? That's Jeff Cavella's question. My favorite place to read is anywhere I can be. I'm not kidding. I don't have any place that I don't have any problems like getting distracted with other noise, because I taught school for so many years, and so you have to deal with constant noise coming into your place. And so this chair is nice. But I don't read here. I write here. Mostly in bed, before I go to bed. Like, that's how I put myself to sleep every time. So that's probably just before bed is my favorite place. But, you know, I used to get really, it's really weird. Those of you that are watching, thank you, and I'm so glad you came. If you either knew me before I was in my 20s or you don't know this information, I have MS, right? I was diagnosed with MS in 1994. And strangely, you know, that can affect your whole central nervous system. It can totally screw you up in all these myriad of ways. And but for some reason, I used to get totally seasick, like totally car sick in the car, and I couldn't deal with it ever. And then for some reason, when I turned like 30, it stopped. And now I can sit there and put my books. I can sit in the passenger side of the car and I can read forever. And I don't get sick. It's really weird. I still get seasick. Don't even get me started on that. I was on a boat recently. It was not good. It was not good. A boat in Hawaii, a beautiful catamaran for a sunset cruise with, you know, in Hawaii with my husband. We won a trip. Anyway, fantastic. And I barfed the entire time. I got sick right at the beginning and threw up the whole time. So anyway, I can read anywhere and not get sick, and I will read anywhere. And I put a Kindle in my purse everywhere I go because so that I can read anywhere. Anytime I have extra time, which feels like never. I'm so busy all the time, but I still can get books in. So I would recommend that Little Fires Everywhere book is really good. I always recommend easy action movies or easy action books like Lee Child or Jonathan Kellerman or Harlan Coben, who is my favorite writer of all time. I just finished his new book. It was pretty good. He's awesome. What about you guys? What's your favorite? Is there something new that's out that I should be reading? I like murder mystery. I like young adult. You know what's weird? I don't read a lot of, I know my YA publisher for this Down in the Belly of the Whale is primarily sci-fi and fantasy. And I used to teach science fiction, and I love Ray Bradbury, and I love that kind of old sci-fi stuff. But I don't just read it for fun. I mean, I don't sit down and read it just for fun. And then Lord of the Rings and fantasy have never been able to get into that. I have kids that love that. I have students that loved that. I could never get into it. Anyway, I don't know. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Did you guys hear that? Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I've read it, Jeff. It's awesome. You're right. I loved that. I love that book. So I would recommend that. I, of course, would recommend anything by Frederick Bachman, who is A Man Called Ove. And that's my friend Annette. Are you still watching, Annette? My friend Annette Skold is from Sweden, and she read it, and she reads her books in Swedish. And all that Frederick Bachman stuff, awesome. A Man Called Ove and Brittany, I can't remember all the titles. I have a box set of him here at home that I've read all but one of them. So I recommend that. Anything by Frederick Bachman. Yes, See Nancy Knows. It's those are all excellent books. I would recommend Stephen King is, I think, a genius. If you like anything that's quote unquote horror, I don't like horror like blood and guts and I don't like that. But Stephen King is not like that. Stephen King is a romantic, and he is a feminist, and he's awesome. Oh, see, there's Fred. Jeff put his up there. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I'm so glad you came. Mwah, mwah. So there's another buttonhole book review of A Man Called Uva. So you can see that. That's a fantastic book. If you're not into books, if anyone that's watching me right now just wanted to watch it because you're a friend of mine but you don't read books, direct message me anytime you want, because I will give you, I have so many books under my belt because of my dad and because of my teaching and because of my writing and because I'm obsessed and whatever. I will give you titles of things to read, and I will help you find different, if you like a specific genre and it's one that I know, I will give you titles. I don't know a lot about, because of my dad, he read a lot of thriller, spy, espionage stuff. I can give you titles of what he loved from those, Ken Follett, or there are so many. So just please let me know. I think unless you have anything else that you want me to do, my list of my watchers is going down. So I think I should probably sign off and say, please, during this ridiculous time, yes, I love you too, Christy. See, everyone's got to go. So please, reach out to me or to anyone else that you want to and talk to them on the internet or on the phone or whatever. Donna Tart, yeah. Oh, thank you, Rashida. Thank you, Nancy. Donna Tart, I only read the Goldfinch, and I think she's a great writer. She's a fantastic writer, but I didn't like any of those characters. I didn't like the book overall because I wasn't other than the guy that helped him, I wasn't attached to any of those characters. So anyway, thank you. I'm so glad that you all came to listen. If you have any questions for me, please direct message me, give me a call, come and visit me in San Diego. I always say that. Nobody ever comes to visit me, but I have a really cool wall bed. I have space in my teeny condo, but there's space for people. I am here all the time, so absolutely give me a call. And the book is down. The book is down in the belly of the whale. It's free right now in ebook form from now until the end of April. So please check it out, either aoniosbooks.com or kelleykbowles.com, my website, which you can click on from here or from my Twitter account or whatever you want. Thank you, Jeff, so much for the questions. That was very helpful in moving us right along. And I think maybe I'll do this again at some point, maybe when one of the new books comes out. I think this is a lot of fun, and I'm so glad you guys came. So thank you so much. Mwah, 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 mwah. Hope to see a lot of you soon. Take care. Bye.